I was expecting not to play anything too seriously in December, but thanks to the one game I picked up and a mix of other small things, it ended up being full of a lot more games than I'd expected. The game I picked up was a certain nostalgic monster collecting game that saw me fall back in love with one of the series that first got me into JRPGs, and the other games I played included ones I was continuing and ones from series I love and more, and I enjoyed dipping my toe into lots of different experiences to remember the many different kinds of experiences that came out last year. So with the new year underway and this last episode of JRPGs I played in 2021 to wrap up, here are the JRPGs I played in December. When thinking about something to do on Christmas Day here in Japan, my boyfriend and I decided to go on a Pokemon nostalgia trip with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and as the first time playing Pokemon in a long time, it was really fun to return to catching Pokemon and trying to become a Pokemon champion just like I loved doing as a kid. I picked up Brilliant Diamond for myself and chose Turtwig as my starter, with my campaign starting out on an interesting note as originally we were planning to do a Nuzlocke challenge, so we gave a lot of our initial Pokemon nicknames to make it more emotionally difficult to let them go, but after the first hour or so, we decided to leave it since it was our first time back into Pokemon after a long time. But it did leave me with a bunch of funnily named Pokemon that was strange for me as someone who usually doesn't nickname them. After getting properly into the campaign though, I found myself quickly reminded of how fun Pokemon can be, and how much I enjoyed it made me want to put it in this JRPG of the Month spot as the final one for this year, as it's genuinely something that reminded me of why I fell in love with the genre in the first place. Yes, it still follows the same formula of catching Pokemon, fighting trainers, and then getting gym badges, but that's what makes it so fun. And as someone who, excluding Pokemon Let's Go, hasn't played a different Pokemon campaign since Pokemon Crystal, it was cool to discover new Pokemon, try things like double battles, and enjoy nostalgia in a different Pokemon world. I managed to finish Brilliant Diamond quite literally on New Year's Eve going into the new year as a Pokemon champion, which I absolutely wouldn't change, and would call it a game that I loved playing in the holidays. I hope to give it a full review soon to talk more about this fun little game that I was surprised to enjoy as much as I did, and I hope how much I enjoyed it is a good sign for the next upcoming Pokemon game. My main focus in December was mostly to try and finish the content I wanted to have out by the end of 2021, especially since I've been in a good headspace for making videos recently. But I still love JRPGs and couldn't help but jump into a few things here and there. And while I didn't jump into anything too long or deeply enough that I think would warrant having its own section, I did play a few interesting things that are at least worth a mention. The main console experience I was planning to play in December was Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp that I made a video about and had some good light fun with. While I somehow ended up getting more into Pokemon later in the month instead, before that it was a nice game to jump into in the mornings of my time off work, and I enjoyed doing a quick trip around the board in the mornings. Due to the sheer amount of characters in it, I still have plenty to unlock at the moment, but since it's a light experience I don't mind this at all, and hope I'm able to put small bits of time into it during the year as it's very easy to jump in and out of. That's not the only console experience I jumped into last month though, as I spent a little bit more time playing Blue Reflection Second Light when I wasn't in the Danganronpa mood, which I'm still enjoying with its harder difficulty, albeit at a slower pace. I also took a brief look at the new DLC for it, which I like the look of so far thanks to its story moments with the cast, even if they're unvoiced, but I am trying to wait until all the DLC is out to fully play through this, or to get to chapter 10 in my playthrough, whichever comes first. So either way, it will be a bit until I try it properly, but it was nice to play with just the aesthetic stuff and to see the new ether synthesis nonetheless. I also took a very brief dive into the Caligula Effect 2 one day as I realized a good use of my coffee time could be spent getting through its social events. I may try and stick to this idea when I remember it, as I was able to enjoy completing Kiriko's events that were more interesting than expected, and even got a fair bit into Kabato's route without annoying him, so hopefully I can at least finish the ones I've unlocked at some point while the game's still on my console, which will hopefully be before I start downloading releases for this year. I also received a code for Rune Factory 4 Special that I covered covered in a video already, and since then have mostly kept away from it because I know I'll get completely addicted to it otherwise. But I love that game a lot, so it's not bad to be able to see it on my PS5 screen whenever I boot it up, and I cross my fingers that I'll have more time to spend with it and its wholesome vibes at some point. I also mentioned last month I received a code for Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX early in December, and unfortunately didn't find myself wanting to jump back into it during the month. I'm still glad I gave it a brief look though, as I'd always been curious about it, and maybe it's something I'll get an itch to play someday. Finally, probably the most interesting thing I took a look at last month was Figure Story, a smartphone game I checked out thanks to its Hatsune Miku collaboration on its Japanese server. Since it was my first time into it and it's a smartphone game, this meant getting bombarded by tutorials that in the end kept me from getting to its Miku content, but it did have some pretty interesting action figure cross Toy Story vibes that got me excited when I did spend time with it, so hopefully I can give it a look another time, and I'll be keeping it on my phone to do so at some point. While this time was obviously a little all over the place, sometimes it's nice to indulge in my urge to play many things that I usually keep under wraps for the sake of keeping my gaming time nice and focused. Most of this was before my Pokemon stint too, where I did have a bit more time to just play around with whatever I want, and helped keep me excited until I picked up Brilliant Diamond, so I don't regret this time at all. I don't know if I'll be picking up any small things this month, as I think I'm starting to work up to wanting to play something longer, but we'll see, as you never know what will pop up in the month, and in any case, I'll be sure to talk about it in the next JRPGs I played to keep you guys in the loop if I find anything interesting. A new year of JRPGs has begun, although until later in the month, it's still a little quiet if you're like me and waiting for a certain new release to play. Because of this, I'll be spending a lot of my time trying to work on content to free up my schedule for when the main release I want to play this month is out, with that release being Pokemon Legends Arceus for Switch that comes out on January 28th. One thing that makes me extra excited for it is that I didn't realize it was essentially going to be a prequel to Diamond and Pearl that makes me really happy I ended up playing Brilliant Diamond, and I'm curious to see how this will take advantage of a more open-looking world and a more historical story if the trailers are anything to go off, and from them, it looks like it'll be a wonderful game to play, so hopefully it lives up to those expectations, and I'm excited to try it once it's out. I did also notice while making this video that on my calendar, Demon Gaze Extra was supposed to come out in English earlier this month, and should be out by the time this video is up. Demon Gaze was once a Vita release that I really wanted to try, although I'm not sure I'm in the mood for a first-person dungeon crawl at the moment, but if any of you guys pick it up, I'd love to hear how you're enjoying it, as it may be one I want to try somewhere down the line. In any case, I'm definitely excited to play Arceus once it's out and to enjoy a fully modern Pokemon game, and I'm also excited to see the other releases scheduled to come out this year as I get to making content too, including talking about some of those releases in upcoming videos. Most importantly though, I hope you all had a good holiday break and are looking forward to playing some great games as this next year of JRPGs begins to get underway that I hope is just as fun, if not more fun than the last, and that I'm so excited to get playing things in this year. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you played in December and what you plan to play this month. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, and until next time, thank you, bye!